Hello and welcome to the first episode of this new TEW 2016 series where I will be playing as WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, in the Risky Business 1985 database. So the plan for this will be basically to take WWF as far as we can feasibly take them, just to see how the wrestling landscape changes and what happens when certain people do or don't get pushed or do or don't win the titles that they did win in real life. The plan for this will be to just do updates after every pay-per-view. None of the weekly television stuff unless something major happens, just because I want to get through it pretty fast so that we can see people grow and come through. So to show you my title holders, we have Hogan, which is the same as WWF did, obviously going into this show. His match is different. It will not be the tag team match. I'm sure that's maybe an unpopular opinion, but I prefer at times to have mini and main events with a singles title on the line. I went Hogan Piper for this. The tag team match will be on in the show, but instead of having Hogan, it will have Snuka, and instead of having Piper, it will have Cowboy, just to get them in ring on the card. The IC title is held by Greg Valentine, the same as in real life, and his opponent will be the same as real life in the Junkyard Dog. Instead of dropping the women's belt to Leilani Kai before the show, I let Wendy Richter hold it, but she will come into the show and defend against Leilani Kai. For the tag team championships, I didn't drop it off of Murdoch and Adonis, the North-South connection. They were doing well for me, so I just let them hold it. They will face US Express tonight on the show. So in terms of storylines, the Rock and Wrestling storyline between Hogan, T, Snuka, Orndorff, Piper, and Orton is an 84. The Andre and Big John Studd storyline is a 79. The Valentine, Santana, and Junkyard Dog storyline is a 79. Tag team storyline is 75, and the women's is 61. So not bad. Decent heat going into the show. We'll run here. It's quite a long show. 170 minutes, 33 segments, but most of them are just little short interviews, because when I watched Wrestlemania 1 back before this, just to see how the show flowed, so I didn't book something completely ridiculous, they have quite a lot of interview segments back to back, where Gene will interview someone and then turn and interview somebody else, or like will interview somebody else a minute later. So I tried to capture that during this Mania. So opening the show will be Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon as they start hype up some of our bigger matches: Hogan, Piper, Andre Studd, and Kai and Richter in a 72. Next up is the interview segment for King Kong Bundy and Jimmy Hart, as Jimmy Hart looks to hype up his new client King Kong Bundy before his match. Got a 68, not bad, especially because King Kong Bundy at the minute is enhancement talent. The match with Tony Atlas, just a quick squash match, 51. Don't have any plans for Atlas at the minute, but he wasn't very pleased about losing here, but I needed a mid-carder for King Kong Bundy to beat to get some popularity. Bundy got a 48 and Atlas got a 56. Next up is the San Martinos and Lord Alfred Hayes, interviewing them for this segment. The story here is that David San Martino has been in some like Rocky style training montages with Bruno, who's been putting him through the paces, and then he suggests that David find a tag team partner who turns out to be Jerry Briscoe. And in a match with the Moondogs, Briscoe gets injured, so I decided to use that as sort of an opportunity to get Bruno back in the ring. And it's maybe not a very glamorous match, but it does the job, and it sort of works to rub some of Bruno's overness hopefully off on David. Although David doesn't really have great stats, but we're going to see if we can even make him maybe a mid-carder. I used to mid-carder for a while, despite what happened in real life, him not really turning out as good. Although he was terrible being improvised without a script. Alfred Hayes done alright. The segment got a 51. The match gets a 64, not bad. In an extremely short match, the San Martinos defeat the Moondogs in 5:25 when David defeated Moondog's spot I thought it was important to get David the win instead of Bruno, just because the focus has been on Bruno training David, so it felt relevant to get David the win here. David got a 48 in ring, Bruno got a 61, the best in the match, and the Moondogs got 55 and 58 respectively. And next up, the San Martinos just celebrated to a 58, again trying to rub off some of Bruno's overness onto David. Then we have a Bret Hart interview with Alfred Hayes. He has been a bit of a bit part player in the Andre story. Whenever I've needed to give Andre a tag team partner or, you know, a babyface to look good in defeat against Big John Studd, I've went for Bret just to, again, rub off some of the popularity from the two main eventers in that storyline, and just to give Bret something to do at around this time. And let's see how the other interview went. Yep. Bobby Heenan cuts an interview on behalf of Ken Patera with Lord Alfred Hayes. Gets a 72. He talks about Andre and Bret and how this is their first step on the way to going 2-0 tonight. Which does not happen, as in a 65. In a decent match, Bret Hart defeated Ken Patera in 7:39 by pinfall with a quick cradle. Patera was not happy about losing this, but I felt I needed to get Bret, you know, a signature Mania moment on the first Mania, just so that if we maybe do something with him in, I think King of the Ring might be up soon, even to give him like maybe a win or two there, to sort of build him up for later on when we push him. Heenan did good work at ringside. Bret Hart got a 68 and Patera got a 60, so good performance from both men. Dick Murdoch and Adonis cut their interview on Wyndham and Rotunda. Gets a 67, not bad. The story's losing heat though, because these interviews aren't amazing. The same for the US Express, they get a 67. Hopefully the match isn't suffering by these segments. The match gets an 81, that's pretty good. Higher than I was expecting. I probably would have had a higher on the card if I thought it was going to get an 81. I think the highest match rating we've had so far off camera is an 82. So for this to get an 81 and be so far down the card is not great. In a bout that had great wrestling and good heat, the US Express defeated the North-South Connection in 10 minutes when Barry Windham defeated Dick Murdoch by pinfall with a flying lariat. The US Express have become the WWF World Tag Team Champions. Adonis and Murdoch have good chemistry. Albano did good work at ringside. Murdoch and Adonis got both into the 80s. That's a lot higher than they usually do. And Rotundo, and Barry Windham got 67 and 70 respectively. So hopefully the two youngsters can push on now with the belts. And next up is just their celebration segment, which gets a 74. The next interview segment is for the Junkyard Dog. He talks about Greg Valentine and just how, you know, he's going to do it for his good friend Tito, who was beaten down by Greg Valentine after their match previously. Valentine's promo is not as good. Not sure what dragged it down. Maybe it was Jimmy Hart. So we'll get into the match. Hopefully it hasn't lost too much heat. 76, not bad. Worse, unfortunately, than the tag team match, so maybe I should have switched them to a round. In a superb match, Greg Valentine defeated Junkyard Dog in 14:27 by pinfall, following interference from Jimmy Hart. Greg Valentine makes defense number 5 of his IC title. I didn't want to go with the count-out victory that WrestleMania 1 went. I know that maybe back then people didn't like losing as much, but I thought we would get Valentine a cheeky win, but a win nonetheless. Both men getting a 75 here, and no improvements. Then, after the match, Valentine puts the boot into the Junkyard Dog, only for a returning Tito Santana to chase him off and, you know, sort of raise the hand of the Junkyard Dog, much like they did at WrestleMania 1, and then sort of point down the aisle at Valentine to sort of set him up as the next challenger. Next up, we have the women's match. Cyndi Lauper and Wendy Richter have their interview with Mean Gene, which is a 66, not bad. The women aren't incredibly over. And Cyndi Lauper actually probably has better entertainment stats than Richter, so these kind of things rely more on her. And the Mula and Kai one gets a 65, which is sort of around what I was expecting actually. Hopefully the match doesn't do too badly, but there's quite a lot after it to pick the show back up if it does. 76, wow, that's a lot better than I was expecting actually. And if I had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Richter defeated Kai in 9:45 by pinfall with a sit-out DDT. During the match, we had Mula run in and attack Wendy, and Cyndi attack Kai, just to sort of parallel what happened in the match, where there was a bit of a brawl outside, or a scuffle outside, with Cyndi Lauper and the Fabulous Mula. Richter has now made 8 defenses of the WWF Women's title. Funnily enough, I did have Medusa, as in the Medusa, for a while, but she was on a pay-per-appearance. She's only 921 or something, was having a few drug issues, so I couldn't send her to rehab. So I've let her go. And if you have any suggestions of other women from this period that I could pick up, that would be very helpful indeed. Or even just anybody I should pick up and push. Cyndi Lauper did good work at ringside. Richter and Kai have good chemistry. Oh, that's good. And Richter got a 68 and Kai got a 63. No improvements. Then we just have the shot of Wendy and Cyndi celebrating Wendy's defense at WrestleMania. And so Andre's promo gets a 78, pretty good. He talks about Big Young Stud and how, he doesn't care about the money, he just wants to defend his career, which is on the line at WrestleMania. Then Stud and Heenan say that they're certainly not going to go 0-2, and that, they do their sort of whole look at all the money stick and talk about how they're going to end Andre's career tonight. Which of course they do not. 84, which I think is the best match we've had so far in the save. Hopefully the main event will beat that. Both men getting an 84 here. In an exceptional match, Andre the Giant defeated Big John Studd by pinfall with the body slam. So he wins with the body slam the same way he does in real life. 13 minutes might be a bit long. I can't remember how long I went in real life. But a good match all around. 2 main eventers. Yeah, Studd improves in Rumble as well, so that's good. Then Andre celebrates in the ring to a 76. Okay, Snuka and T have their sort of special entrance because Mr. T's there. They get 79. And the match gets an 82. That's pretty good. In an exceptional match, Jimmy Snuka and Mr. T defeat Cowboy Bob Orton and Paul Orndorff when Snuka defeated Orndorff by pinfall with a Super 5 splash. I guess you would run the same sort of ending as the tag team match that was originally the main event, where Orton will go to hit Orndorff with the cast, or go to hit T with the cast. Instead, T will move, Orton will hit Orndorff by accident, and then Snuka will hit the splash. And then you have Orndorff sort of, I guess, hints at a face turn, maybe. In the actual Mania match, Piper and Orton leave without him. So we might see a face turn for Orndorff in the future. Although I haven't set it up yet, because I might leave it for a bit more down the line. T got an 84, Orndorff an 85, Orton 80, and Snuka the lowest was 79. Although Snuka kind of serves as my... when I need a heel to get a win before they face Hogan, or if I need someone in a tag team match to get a win, and Hogan obviously can't take the fall, it kind of falls to Snuka, which is unfortunate. Snuka improved in performance and Orndorff in Rumble. Then we have Piper's backstage promo, just to hype up his match with Hogan. Got a 79, expecting a wee bit better. Piper has quite a few drug issues at this time. He's only had a handful of matches, maybe 3 or 4. I think 3, but after every one, I think he's came back high, so hopefully he doesn't have that problem tonight. Gene worked the crowd well. Okay. Piper's special overtop entrance got a 100. That's very good. Piper is someone that I would like to give a run to at some point. The only problem being that, obviously, with his issues, it would be a worrying problem if he were to get sent home or to hurt somebody in the ring while my champion. And then we have Hogan's backstage interview where he's hyping up how Piper's been playing mind games with him and trying to get in his head, but he's not going to let that happen. And then obviously as he's having his interview, Snuka and T come and they sort of said they took care of Orndorff and Orton in their match, and it's just up to Hogan to defend the title and make it a back-to-back wins for the babyfaces. 80 rating, pretty good. His over the top entrance doesn't actually get as good as Piper's. It got a 98, so we'll see how the match goes. Hoping for at least a 90, maybe not, but we'll see how it goes. 88, I'll take 88. In an exceptional match, Hulk Hogan defeated Roddy Piper, so we kept the belt on Hogan for now until we can maybe sort out a few of Piper's personal issues. He won in 1742. Not sure if that's a bit too long for this time period or not. You'll have to let me know. He wins with a big leg drop, obviously, and then Hogan has made defense number 7 of the WWF heavyweight title. Hogan and Piper have good chemistry, so I have plans to run this match again at some point. So that's handy. And Hogan got an 88 and Piper got a 92. Any improvements? No improvements. And then the show just ends, I guess, with Hogan flexing as he does to celebrate his big win as Maniac fades to black. Our show got an 89, our best show so far, obviously, and it increased our popularity in 18 regions. We will make our speech. We will talk up Hogan and Roddy Piper. Just compliment them on a good performance. Is there anybody else? We'll compliment Andre as well, I guess. Okay. So, the next show, I believe, is King of the Ring. It's either King of the Ring or the Wrestling Classic. Not actually sure. Do we have any? Bruno's complaining about his push. He doesn't want to be an occasional wrestler. That's fine. It was a one-off. And Cowboy believes that King of Bunny can't sell. Okay. Thankfully, there's been nobody was high or anything, so that's a success. This has been a good first episode. We will come back for, let's see, where's schedule? We will come back for King of the Ring in June.